in 3. And you guys know this one is the F5 match. So it's going to be Captain BOGY against Shawn Prime in this F5 match. You're asking yourself, what is the F5 match? The F5 match is the Few Fast 5 Fanatic Face-Off. Yeah. So we will go head-to-head in this match. I will ask the question no one dares to ask, and Shawn Prime will need to have an answer. So let's go to the tail of the tape. I, Captain BOGY, measuring in at 6 feet tall, weighing in at amazing, hailing from NYC, Miami, wrestling promotion, The Few Show. Finishing move, the F5 got you, and enough said. So I have been quoted as saying, if you're not here, you're nowhere. Yeah. And today I will be facing Shawn Prime, sir. How you doing, sir? All right. Thank you very much for being here. Please have a seat. Get comfortable. Let's get right into this.
I like the studio audience. That's great.
Hey, listen, it's jam-packed. As you see, we had to you close the doors because we had no more room. So one of his catchphrases is "All hail Prime."
I'm pretty sure that's my only catchphrase. I don't know if I say anything. I scream a lot during matches, so I don't really quite know.
Listen, with that catchphrase, you need no more.
Fair enough.
WrestleMania Promotions, ICW, D1PW, Vintage All-Star Wrestling, Future of Wrestling, Mag Wrestling, Dragon Gate USA, Combat Zone Wrestling, Ring Warriors, Uproar Pro Wrestling, Ronin Pro Wrestling, Pro, and Brain Busters. I don't know if I might have left one or two.
I don't even remember half those promotions. Wow, that's crazy. I've worked for all of them. That's amazing.
Yes. And like I told you, you need to go online. I know you don't go on there too often, but you need to put your name in. And you're in some of these wrestling websites.
I'm literally the most social media inept person alive. So when he told me about all these wrestling promotions and all this stuff that's online, no idea it existed, none whatsoever.
Hey, if it's on the internet, it has to be true.
Fair. At least it's not bad stuff on the internet.
Height and weight, 6'3", 235 pounds.
On a good day.
Hailing from Hollywood, Florida. His trainers, Rusty Brooks. Wow, that's amazing.
That's true.
And Sean Allen.
And you left out Soul Man Alex G also did a fair amount of training too.
Oh, nice. Okay, a lot of experience there.
Yeah, really.
Finishing move, the Prime Plex, which is like a swinging fisherman suplex. And his years of experience, he corrected me on that. Again, I thought the internet didn't lie, but he debuted in 2001.
Well, I got into the wrestling business. Okay. I started the wrestling business in 2001. My first match was like 2003.
All right.
But things didn't get like serious until about 2005, 2006 with ICW. So I have a very weird like wrestling career where it's not non-traditional, where I didn't go into school, train, and then start wrestling from promotions. Like most things I do in my life, everything's non-traditional.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem.
Gonna get it closer. So everything's non-traditional for me. As anybody's ever seen me work, knows my gimmick, or has seen my promos or anything. I don't traditionally do anything right. It's always just basically I wake up and I go, I want to do this today, and I do it, and that's just what it is.
Nice. Well, listen, your promos are spot on.
I appreciate that.
Them if they come from deep down inside, but the fire is felt. Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I got the best promo advice in 2004, and since that time, anytime anyone comes up and goes, hey, man, that was a great promo, I give credit to this individual. Steve Carino, in 2004, I was working as a production assistant for Major League of Wrestling. I did the rings, the War Memorial, and all that, and I was still very green in the business, very, very new. And I was driving him to his hotel, and he asked if I was training. I said, yeah, I'm training, Any advice that you might have would be awesome. And he goes, how are your promos? And I said, well, they suck. Because at the time I was still, the dirt bike kid, and I had no idea how to talk on a microphone, no idea how to assert myself confidently at all. And he goes, an hour in the mirror every day until you can believe the words coming out of your mouth. And once you can believe what you're saying, then everyone else will. But until you can believe what you're saying, until you can be honest with enough in your mirror that you can cut a promo and go, wow, give yourself goosebumps. Wow. No one else will feel anything. And I took that advice, and anytime everyone was, man, that was a great promo, Prime. I'm like, thank Carino.
Very nice. And actually, I'm going to take that tip. I don't know if you're aware, Platinum Pro Wrestling coming out in January.
I am.
I was blessed with given the opportunity to be the commissioner.
Well, that's a big responsibility.
So to be verbal and to have the skills that you have, I'm going to take that.
There's absolutely nothing as far as I'm concerned. There's no better advice because you can lie to everybody. You can't lie to yourself. If you cut a stupid promo in a mirror, you're going to look at yourself and go, I'm an idiot. But if you say something that really grabs you, and then all of a sudden you go, oh, I'm on to something now. And that's kind of what happened with me. And I guess that's why I'm able to do and say the things I'm able to do and say. That, my general, I just don't give. Oh, this is a commercial. I mean, this is probably family friendly. I don't give a bleep.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to look at the mirror every day for 10 hours.
Good.
Try to get to your level at one day.
It's going to take a little bit more than 10 hours, buddy.
And years. So now, before we start this, did you know that there is another Shawn Prime out there? And before you get crazy,
really?
He's not a wrestler. He's not a wrestler.
Is he a porn star?
No.
Oh, okay. No. That was my second guess.
Actually, that would be a cool name. No, he's an account manager.
Account manager?
I found him the information on linked.com. And just so you know, I'm not lying, linked.com.
That guy looks like he pays for his women.
All right.
It's true. I've seen the picture.
He does have the face.
I mean, but if he's an account manager, he probably has the money for it. So good for him, man. Good for him.
What awesome freaking name.
Hey, listen, more than one person has the name Shawn, and his is probably legal. Yeah. Mine's just a wrestling name. I don't walk around telling people to call me Prime because that'd be weird. I'd have no friends at that point. I have like 3 now.
Hey, that's more than me. All right, so let's go ahead and start the Fanatic 5 face-off. First question is, what are your first memories of watching wrestling?
My first memories of watching wrestling, my very first memories was as like small kid watching on the USA Network. They'd always have the commercials on the animated train that USA Network used to have. And then I would watch like Warrior and Hogan and Macho Man and that era. But I wasn't really allowed to. My father, not a big fan of wrestling. No, my dad was not a big, he didn't really get sold on the idea of me wrestling until the last couple of years of his life. So it was always, but it was fine. It was one of those driving factors and motivations for me. Like, I'm going to prove my dad wrong. I'm rebellious. And my first memories as a kid intent on becoming a wrestler was, and I told the children this earlier, one of my friends gave me a tape because I was like, wrestling's stupid because my dad says so, and he's like, really? Gave me a tape, and it gave me a tape. It was WrestleMania 12. Main event was Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart in the Iron Man match. The moment that match ended, I couldn't picture myself fast enough in a wrestling ring.
Wow.
And I was a 14-year-old kid. I didn't weigh anything. I was like 4 foot tall. There was absolutely no physical attributes that I had that would say, "Hey, you could be a pro wrestler." But that was the moment. That was the driving moment right there. And since then, positive and negatives have happened.
Here you are. Question number 2. So you have been wrestling since 2001.
Three, yeah.
What motivated you to become a wrestler? So at that point, what got you into it?
Well, the dream was the dream, and then I started with Future of Wrestling in 2001. My good friend Mike Blake took me and his sons to come with the shows. We met Bobby Rogers, some of the other wrestlers. Mike Blake bought a ring, and I started becoming the ring kid. I would put up the ring, I'd put up the shows, and that's all it was. And then they put Bobby got at school. And because of all the work I was doing in the ring and all the work I was doing at the shows, doing the productions and everything, he allowed me to train for free.
Wow.
So I spent the next couple months getting the ever-living bleep kicked out of me by the likes of Dave Johnson, Casey Thompson, whoever was there at the time at the school. And they would just beat the hell out of me. They would, there would be days where I couldn't even physically stand or walk. And it was just like, but I took it as me paying my dues. Nowadays, it's assault and battery. Everyone, wrestling in this business nowadays is very soft. But back then, that was how you paid your dues. I was one of the last guys of that generation era of class that had that happen. And you know, is what it is. You know, it's I'm not a badass by any stretch of the imagination. I can take a punch though. But and then I started to realize that there was kind of something there, even though I was a really skinny kid. I really didn't have anything to offer short of you know, desire and the spunk and need to go out there and hard to do it. Not till many years later did I start to put some weight on and start to understand that, oh well, I'm not really that bad at this at all. So yeah, that's how I built from there.
Question number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who are your top 5 wrestlers of all time?
All time? Oh,
Go back to the 80s when you were seeing.
I'm probably gonna have a much different response than most people.
Okay.
I mean, you can't say professional wrestling and attribute all the success and not say Hulk Hogan. That's just not possible. I'll have to say Macho Man, because without Macho Man, there wouldn't even be cruiserweight wrestling. Him and Steamboat at WrestleMania 3, that was the first. Yeah. And Macho Man was one of the first little guys to really make a huge impact in the business. Come on, man, Ric Flair.
Yes.
Come on, man, Ric Flair.
Oh, man.
I was a huge Steve Austin fan. And in fact, a lot of Shawn Prime is Steve Austin. Steve Austin, Brian Pillman. It depends on. You know, I'm a huge fan of Brian Pillman. For those of you who don't know who Pillman was, but yeah, you see a lot of Pillman in me. And see, it's hard. It's top 5, so I'm at my 5th, and I've got so many names up there. But I'll have to say the guy that really inspired me to begin with, and that's Shawn. I mean, what Shawn Michaels was doing at the time that I became a wrestling fan, and I know that generationally that was one of the worst periods for the WWF at the time, and they were almost bankrupt. And there's him and Bret Hart are battling for the championship, and they're the 2 smallest guys in the card, and I don't give a bleep about any of that. Shawn Michaels, I would stop what I was doing to watch whatever he was doing, and when he retired prematurely after WrestleMania 14 with Austin, I was like, oh man, we never get to have Michaels come back, and then he came back. So those are top 5 off the top of my head, just as we're talking.
We could easily,
I could easily go like into 30 or 40 of guys that influential and it really made the business what it is. The Gorgeous Georges and the Dick Murdochs and all that stuff. Yeah. So
awesome. So question number 4. How did you come up with the name Shawn Prime? Because it's just iconic.
I didn't. I don't know how iconic it is now, but I didn't come up with that name.
Okay.
My friend, my good friend of mine, Dave, he came up with that name. He was messing with me one day, going, you know what? Since your favorite wrestler is Shawn Michaels and your favorite Transformer is Optimus Prime, you should just have those 2, you know, have a baby, and that would be you and Shawn Prime. And I'm like, that's the stupidest name ever. And then at some point, I was getting really tired of being called the Dirt Bike Kid as I was becoming a man. And
so Dirt Bike Kid
Dirt Bike Kid was my very first gimmick.
Wow,
that was my very first gimmick. And I actually know how long I've known you in the wrestling business based on what you call me by. Like if you just scream out, "Hey, DBK," I'm like, "Oh, I know how long I've known this guy."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
So he came up with Shawn Prime. I thought it was stupid as hell. And then came time for me to create a new game. The George Patuano ICW was like, "Well, fine. You don't like Shawn. I mean, you don't like Dirt Bike Kid. Come up with something else." I was like, "Checkmate." Damn. And then I remembered Shawn Prime. I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Why not? Nice. And not only did it stick, I got people calling it legendary now.
Well, listen, we started going to local Miami wrestling events 2014, and around then we caught one of the shows when you were in, and I mean, you bigger than life. I mean, the name alone, even before coming in, and then you coming in with your jacket. And
curiously, what was my first match you guys saw?
Well, we went to ICW. We went to Unipro. It was probably Unipro 2014.
Well, the first Unipro I did was that run-in where I beat up on, I believe it was Mannix. I can't remember.
Could have been.
I beat up somebody. I always beat up people. I don't know what it is. I'm always in the crowd and I get tired of stuff and I just beat people up. So it's, hey,
that's
fun.
Your thing. So, and actually for those that really don't know too much about Shawn Prime, maybe they're just tuning in. What is Shawn Prime about? The character. What does he bring to the table?
That's a good question. First off, I'd like to think that there's nobody in the business that I can't go in that ring with and have a show-stealing match with. I have worked all kinds of different styles, all kinds of different individuals. Gangrel, Stevie Richards.
Yes.
You know, I've been in the ring with quite a few different styles of people. I had a great match with Lindsay Dorado.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's two completely different styles right there, and we had a really good match. Okay. That's first off. Second off, I dare someone out talk me on the microphone. I just dare you. I dare you to put me in my element in front of that crowd, in front of everybody, and I dare you to try to out-talk me. It's an open challenge to anybody that wants to try. You won't be able to do it short of someone who's getting paid millions of dollars by the WWE itself, and even then, I'm pretty sure I can go toe-to-toe by some of the better guys there. Nice. I think that's a if anyone knows me, that's a universal fact. And I don't give a bleep. I don't care. Bleep. I'm going to do whatever the hell I want, whenever I want, however I want to do it. It's that simple. It's just the way I've always been. I broke in at a time where everybody wanted to tell you what to do. I've always fought authority my entire life. For some reason, if you told me not to drink this water bottle, I say I don't want to drink this water bottle. You tell me not to drink it. Now I'm going to drink every ounce of water in it, just to prove a point. That's just who I am. It's all I've always been. But that's where the Pillman and the Austin comes in, because I was infatuated guys that would just walk in and go, I'm just going to do what I want. I dare you to stop me. And that's just kind of what I grabbed. And as I got bigger, as I put on more weight, as I got stronger, and as I started to realize that I really am that guy now.
You're backing it up.
Then I can back up the words that I say. And now I'm to the point now where I just walk into a building and a promoter sometimes will go, what do you want to do tonight? Because I don't want to tell you what to do.
Wow.
Or when I have negotiations, when I have negotiations with, ICW or something, it always is like, well, I want you to do this, but what do you want to do? And that's what I've known George Bertuando for, 13, 14 years. So he knows better than to come up with some stupid half-ass stuff.
Well, there's a trust factor.
Huge trust factor. We get really mad at each other, but then at the same time, we mutually are beneficial, and we love each other. We're best friends. Good. As much as you can be in business like wrestling, where everyone's trying to stab everybody else in the back to get that extra 10 fan support. Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So that concludes our F5. So you guys stay tuned.